All right, I want to welcome everybody for coming today. This is going to be our 2022 Arbor Day, and my name's Kevin Green. I'm Superintendent of Parks, and I'd like to welcome Andy Quinones. He's here on behalf of the mayor. He couldn't be here today. And then Cheryl Thompson, she's our Parks and Rec Director for Parks and Rec. Dave Klaus, he's a foreman for the Park Department also. To start off real quick, I'm just going to have Andy come up and he's going to read the proclamation.
Hi, good morning everybody.
Good morning.
Again, thank you to Kevin and Dave for doing a wonderful job, the Gardeners of Florissant. Cheryl, Director of Parks and Recreation, I'm glad everybody can be here today. It's going to take a few minutes to read the proclamation. As you know, today, April 28th, 2022 is Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. This holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. Whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of businesses, areas, and beautify our community. Whenever they are planted, trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas Florissant has been recognized once again as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore, I, Timothy J. Lowery, Mayor of the City of Florissant, Missouri, do hereby proclaim April 28th, 2022 as Arbor Day. In the City of Florissant, we urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry program. I further encourage all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. In witness, therefore, I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of the City of Florissant, Missouri, this 28th day of April 2022. Mayor Tim Lowery.
Okay, yeah, I also just wanted to mention too, this year we were able to get our Tree City USA validation going again. We weren't able to do it for 2021 for 2020 I should say, because we weren't able to have the Arbor Day celebration for that. So we got it going again this past year, and so that's 32 years now we've had that. And then we were also involved this year in a program for it was called Project Community, which it was ran through the Forestry Relief Program, and they gave us 10 trees for free to plant, which we're going to put those throughout some of our parks, but they're tiny. So we're gonna have to grow them for a little bit before we can put them out, because I'm afraid they just get mowed over right now. So we're gonna get those going. But just to mention a couple of the things for, the benefits of the trees and all that is, they provide us with the moderation of air quality and help us with erosion and noise. They provide wind breaks and they help with utility costs. If you got a big tree by your house and it shades your house, it helps a lot in the summertime. Do that, and it also increases property values. And then, like I said, springtime, it's, they're great to look at, the flowering trees and everything like that, besides the colors in the fall. So there's just a lot of things to enjoy about the trees. And hopefully we've had an issue this past year with they call them wasp galls or whatever on some of the trees. We've lost a few, so if you see a couple coming down, they're, but we're trying to replace them as we go. So anyway, I know we've got the Gardeners of Florissant here, and I wanted to introduce Dave Jones, and he's going to come up and talk about, we're going to plant a couple trees today and give you a little information about what that's about. And so Dave, if you want to come up and introduce everybody that's with you.
City of Florissant representatives, fellow Florissant residents and guests. Hello everyone, my name is David Jones, and I am the president of the Gardeners of Florissant. On behalf of myself and my fellow Garden Club members, some of who are present today, we are honored to be here with the City of Florissant to celebrate our nation's 150th Arbor Day. From our humble beginnings in 1958, where we started the Men's Garden Club of Florissant with 10 members, to our current status of over 70 members. The Gardeners of Florissant have been and continue to be an integral part of the city of Florissant. Our mission statement reads as such: the Gardeners of Florissant are committed to protecting and beautifying the environment and sharing our knowledge with others. We pride ourselves by being involved in community outreach initiatives. Some of those include managing and maintaining the Civic Center Rose Garden and the Purcell Road Garden, partnering with Historic Florissant to provide landscaping assistance and plant materials, including trees. We have provided complimentary gardening assistance to Florissant residents. We support the various community gardens around Florissant. We provide monetary support to Florissant-based charitable organizations. We provide scholarship money to horticultural students at the North County Technical School. We are an anchor vendor by holding our annual plant sale at the Valley of Flowers Festival. And we have been a continual presence at the Florissant Arbor Day tree planting since 1984. To date, the Gardeners of Florissant have donated over 60 trees towards Arbor Day, and we are very proud to support the city of Florissant in helping them to keep their Tree City USA status with the National Arbor Day Foundation, who are this year celebrating their 50th anniversary. Each year we plant a tree in honor of a recently deceased new member, our club member, if any for that year, and another one for a special cause or recognition. I would now like to hand things over to our Arbor Day Chairperson, Georgia Chaljo, and she will tell you more about who we are honoring today and the trees we are planting. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you, for coming today and for being a part of this wonderful ceremony. So over the years, we planted many trees, most in memory of our former members who passed away. We've also planted trees for those killed in the 9/11 attacks, those killed in terrorist attacks, for the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts 100th anniversary. Last year we planted a tree for the healthcare workers who have worked long hours caring for the COVID patients, some even losing their own lives. If you have not seen the wall at the bottom of the steps in the Civic Center, please go and have a look of all the trees that have been planted over the years by the Garden Club and by Florissant residents. So I would like to introduce Phyllis Tinker, who we are planting a tree in memory of her father, Buddy Graham, and she's going to tell us a little bit about Buddy.
Hello, everybody. I first wanted to explain the pictures. There's a saying that says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And it's very ironic. Today is the 1-year anniversary of my father's death. It's just, nobody knew that, and then when I heard the date, I realized. So this is really a special way to honor Dad, and I really appreciate you all honoring him in this way, and he would be so proud because if anybody knew my dad, anytime you brought up Buddy's name, and if they were going to describe him in some way, they would say, well, he loved flowers and gardening and trees, anything green. So this is quite appropriate for him. He was always very knowledgeable of flowers and trees of any kind, and it was really, he did a lot of reading because he only had an 8th grade education, but he always knew something about any kind of flower or whatever. He had to move back up here. He had retired and was remarried in Arkansas, and it'll be 5 years now. He had to move back up here to St. Louis, so the garden club was one thing that Dad and I could enjoy together. We both had an interest, and it was, he was not in good health, and eventually he had Alzheimer's and passed from that. And so anyway, the garden club was something that we both enjoyed, and he really enjoyed, and everybody always made Dad feel welcomed, and I really appreciate that. And he especially loved our bus trips, and he was sad when we couldn't go, and he was asking about our bus trip during the pandemic time. From a young boy, he said he was always trying to grow something. And Georgia called and asked me what kind of tree that we should plant. Well, to tell you the truth, I really didn't know what Dad's favorite tree was. But then I remembered my oldest daughter, they were going to plant a tree in their yard, and they asked Grandpa what he thought, and so he told them to plant a red maple tree. So that's what I went with. I thought, well, he must have liked red maples if he recommended to plant one. I looked up what red maple, what it symbolizes, and it symbolizes strength and endurance. There's a saying or a verse in the Bible, Psalms 1:3, that we've all heard, like a tree planted by the waters. And I never really knew what that meant. And so I did a little research, and what it means is, when a tree is planted by waters, a river, the roots soaks up the water and never endures the ill effects of drought. Even through drought for a long time, the tree is unharmed because it has deep roots by the river to feed on. Dad was deeply rooted, had deep roots in his Christian walk, just like the trees by the water. And also, if we keep ourselves rooted in the waters, then we're always going to have something to pull from in rough times. So I think I said everything I wanted to catch, and I'm going to end with a poem that I found. And the name of it's The Old Red Maple. Too long since soothed sapling skin, bent supple with the slightest breeze, now stretched, fissured and furrowed, bored, burned and bent, sliced, scarred and carved, yet I lived wonderfully and fully. Old lambs that once swung a laughing child and sheltered more than one forbidding kiss, the only witness to many lonely tears and at least as many hopeful prayers. Why pensive then, when so many would desire my fate? Perhaps those melancholy desires for what was, when I stood not quite as tall, when many proud elders surrounded me, wise and strong, but now gone. I will soon join them, but today a robin tickles my brow, a home for one more brood, and October will find one last shout of crimson beauty. I am still proud.
Thank you, Phyllis. And, we talk about by a river. Well, right over here on the other side, there's a creek, and on this side, there's a creek. So it is planted by the water. So we're planting this red point maple in memory of Buddy Graham. It's pyramid-shaped tree with dark green foliage in the summer and bright red leaves in the fall. It will grow to a height of 45 feet with a spread of 30 feet. Come back in the fall to see its beautiful red color. So this year over back there, we are planting a tree in memory and honor of the people of Ukraine who are fighting valiantly to keep control of their country. And we are planting a linden, and lindens do grow in the Ukraine, and that's why we picked it. It will grow to a height of 50 to 60 feet, and it produces flowers later in the season than other trees, and it's a good source of nectar and pollen for bees and other pollinators. And it's drought resistant, even though it's close to those creeks. And in the fall, it gets little pea-sized seeds on it. May it grow tall and strong as the people of Ukraine continue their fight to stay independent. So I have one little last statement. We hope that those who come to this beautiful space will feel peace and calm as they walk through this grove or sit beneath the branches of the trees. Hopefully, the spirits of those for whom these trees have been planted will give people a sense of calm and peace. And remember, someone is sitting under the shade of a tree today because someone planted a tree long ago.